Previously on D&D Kinda.
So I want to look in the ashes of where the statue is.
You notice that there's something hard in the ashes there, and there is a red ruby in the ashes.
I was plagued by dreams at night that I didn't understand. One of my fellow orphans told me a story of an old god, a dark god, who, if I swore fealty to him, would bestow upon me untold knowledge. I found a book, and inside of it I found his name, Cthulhu.
There is a light that is moving through the sand, and it moves through the air and leaps and hits Hamilton and knocks him to the ground. And it is the spirit of a dog. And all four of you are standing around this thing in the sand. Thrak reaches down and punches the ground, and this massive portal opens up and swallows all four of you and sucks you inside of it. Bartholonude's eyes opened as the haze clouding his vision slowly dissipated. The ground above him, on which he stood, was narrow, with very little room between where he lay and the ledge. His eyes traveled in a semicircle around the precipice that engulfed his surroundings, and this dark chasm stood for miles in all directions, except for one. There, striking claim to this desolate empty space, planted from the same direction that Bartholonude was, a giant castle, encompassing the entirety of the inverted dark horizon. Bartholonude stepped forward as to get a better vantage point. He looked down, and his companion awoke suddenly and raised from the ground. And as he did, Bartholonude was speechless at what he saw, staring back at him, his own body. He became attuned to his own, his hands human. He reached around and grabbed the shield, and brazen on the front was a shimmering blue infinity symbol. Bartholonude was in Topher's body. You're all looking around at each other, not knowing who is who, what's what, where you are. You guys are all just very confused. You're realizing the bodies that you're in are not your own. You're not sure who's in your body.
What is this?
Your guys' only frame of reference, obviously, is the spirit animal that jumped through and was explaining to you guys what was happening. It was Scar. So what do you guys do? You guys are all coming to terms with bodies that you're in. So
what happened to my voice?
All right, who's in Benedict's body?
That's me.
Guys, this is weird.
I'm Topher? What? There's a frog in my throat.
These aren't my hands.
Listen,
Yes.
I don't like this.
I've got my body is over there.
I want to make it a point that while everybody is trying to figure this out, I don't even know how to refer to myself. Hamilton within Bartholonude?
Hamilnude.
I, Hamilnude, am addressing the party, and as I'm doing so, I'm trying to climb into Topher's backpack. Only I am a 7-foot-tall dragonborn.
Well, this is very strange, everyone. We should probably try to regroup and have a plan forward.
I would agree with that. Can you all remember everything from before?
Yes.
This reminds me of a play I once played a part in. The switching of the mind, consciousness dysphoria, as some of the healers have called it. I recall this concept. The story about a beautiful maiden who struggled with her relationships.
You sound a lot like me right now.
Throughout her teenage and early adult life, after a horribly tragic situation where her husband-to-be cheated on her. The maiden was broken-hearted and had given up all faculties and accepted her life's end. But rather than just committing suicide, she sought out a notoriously evil witch who lived in the solitude among the mountain ranges that form the spine of the world. Once the maiden found her witch, she made a deal to forget her emotional turmoil of her past. But the witch had an alternative plan, to also cast a spell that made them switch bodies. The maiden was now in the body of the witch and couldn't remember anything of her former life. I loved that play, I really do, but unfortunately we had to stop playing it because many of the towns and villages that we played it in, because it was a scientific account of magic, many other crimes started breaking out, and we were forced to no longer play the play. Some of the stage crew mentioned that the play might have been a story of actual events. Do any of you know of anything of the switching of minds or consciousness dysphoria?
No.
No.
Yeah, I'd have to say not.
It's interesting, Topher. The real Topher. Which body are you in?
This one.
I think I might have some information about you. I haven't lost my memory.
Neither have I.
What that tells me is that your mind isn't physically damaged, that there could be some magic that is blocking your past.
So you say that there may be some kind of magic that's blocking my memory?
I don't see how it couldn't be that.
Good or evil?
Your body's brain is not damaged. I still remember.
What do you
Your
remember?
memory is functioning. So there has to be some sort of other factor that is contributing toward your memory loss.
So through your knowledge of the play that you were once in, you said it was based on scientific fact or accounts. Did you do any research yourself about switching of the minds and magics that could affect the mind?
Well, in the play, the maiden who had switched with the witch conducted research in the witch's lab. She woke up in someone else's body and didn't have any memory of her past. And she was able to deduce the method that returned her memory. And once she had her memory, the emotion and sorrow of her former failed love life was nothing compared to the palatable desire for revenge and justice. The play was exceptionally fun to play a part in, but unfortunately it didn't bear much knowledge other than the fact that these concepts do exist. And many crimes in villages that we played this story for began to upbring, so it became common, and there is a cure.
I'm not sure if I want to find a cure or not.
We do. We want to find a cure. We want to find it right now.
Which body are you?
Where are we going? I'm Benedict, except I'm in.
You're in your brother's body?
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
I want to study and try to find something that'll help potentially me to remember my past. But at this moment, there are different questions that we need answered. So, one, where are we? Where are we and what happened?
So the spectral dog that appeared, that was Scar, that was speaking to you guys a bit ago, had been, you guys are sitting on almost like a plateau that has it has like a definitive cliff edge. It's just all around you, and there's one path off of it that leads down. So imagine yourself up on this like massive flat area, which is like a rocky crag cliff around all sides of you, and just falls infinitely into blackness and nothing on all sides. And there's a purple dark haze, cloudy sky all around you, with just mountains that just go high as can be on all sides to you, what appears to be miles and miles in the distance. And again, you guys are upside down, but it doesn't seem like you're not getting like dysphoria from like blood rushing to your head or anything. It's almost like this is just normal. Like this is what it is like here in this plane.
Are there any like small stones or anything on the ground around us?
Not anything like of discernible. Like, are you specifically looking for a small stone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the ground is just like dirt and rocks, but they're not falling. They're just...
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. I want to like take a rock and chuck it to see if it like falls, goes up, or just stays where it's at.
Okay, yeah. So you pick up just I would just say like you reach down and just grab like a handful of like dirt and rocks, and then you just kind of
off the edge.
Yeah, and it just kind of falls to where the ground that you're standing on is. If you throw it over the edge, it just kind of falls down or up that direction.
So it goes up.
Right, but you're actually standing.
From my perspective, it's going down, but in reality, it's actually going up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the spectral dog that you guys know is Scar is sitting at the edge looking towards this massive castle that is off in the distance, and this pathway is winding down and spiraling down to this castle. Just probably like a good mile off in the distance. Just a long, very narrow, steep, just twist winds pathway through this astral plane upside down area. And he's sitting there and he's staring off in the distance, and he looks back at you guys and says, if you all were looking for Lokar, his keep is here. You will find him here. Your bodies, when you entered the astral plane, when you see the spectral animal that I am in, you saw this dog in the chamber of the seals. This is why we have this animal. For when we travel to the astral plane, we bring this animal with us so our souls may be bound to it. For when you all came in, your bodies were scrambled. But the difference is you do not have the magics bound to your bodies to keep your souls in place to one thing.
So you couldn't have warned us before you shot us into the astral plane that this would happen?
I didn't shoot you in here. Thrak did.
Is he here
if
with
I'd
us?
come, he is not.
Oh, I got something to say to him when we get back.
If you come back.
Oh, I'm getting back.
You must find yourselves here. To bind yourself to something, you must find it within the astral plane and bind yourself to it. Rest assured, all of you have been bound in blood, as Francis once told you, and your souls wander the astral plane. I would be willing to bet that your souls are there. And you see the head of his dog point in the direction of Lokar's castle.
Should we go down there to that castle?
If Lokar is down there in that castle, we need to go. We need to go now.
I agree.
All right, so you guys want to like head down the road to
Let's do
fucking
it.
Jollyville?
I'm total.
Get
Totes my
ourselves
goats down.
back? All right.
Let's do it.
That's what I was.
Let's
wanting to
keep
get
it
to.
up.
All right, so you guys start walking down that way, and as you do, Scar kind of like barks at you all and says, be mindful. This is no ordinary castle. This is no ordinary villain you are dealing with.
We are fully aware of how dangerous Lokar is. We will proceed with caution.
It is not a physical battle I worry for. I do not know what lies beyond that gate. You will be, rest assured, tested physically, mentally, spiritually in ways that you have never seen before.
Well, fuck yeah, let's get this shit going.
Hey, Benedict and Hamilton.
Yeah.
Which Hamilton?
I made some mistakes when we were infiltrating the Hottenau Mountain.
Okay.
Part of my anger got the best of me, and I know Lokar has a great deal to do with your past, and I recommend to be as detached as possible.
So as you guys are walking down this this path, it is very narrow, maybe 2 or 3 feet wide, and just infinite depths to your either side. So your footing is sure, and every step as you guys move slowly is you guys are making sure that you are lining the path just completely right. Especially in your new bodies, this is very strange. You guys are still even grasping how to move, how to carry yourselves.
Yeah, I see why you jump up in his backpack all the time. With these feeble legs, it's kind of hard to walk, isn't it?
It's very tiresome, yes.
So as you guys are walking down the path, you come across the path kind of like slopes upwards and does a loop. And that kind of flattens back out on the other edge about 20, 30 feet in the distance. So the rock path kind of, it slopes upwards and then goes upside down, and it splits over, making it impossible for you to just like leap over to the next path, but it loops up into the air and then back down and across.
So I have an idea.
And then on the other side of that path, there is the castle gates.
I start walking up the ramp.
Agreed.
Okay. As you walk up the ramp, you notice that every footstep you take, your foot is hitting just right on the path, and you are feeling no resistance, and you are traversing the loop
It
perfectly.
seems as though the gravity is changing.
And as you, do you guys all just kind of follow?
Yeah, once I see that, I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are all walking in just a straight line. Again, this is a very thin path, and as you guys walk up, you were expecting to feel kind of like a loop, but it's almost as if you're just walking on just a straight path. Now, the interesting thing is as you get to the top of this loop and start to walk back down this, you realize that you guys are no longer upside down. You guys are right side up. And from the castle that was upside down in the distance, and the mountain range that was off in the distance, and the infinite darkness and the fields of clouds that surround the precipice that is around the castle below it is now, instead of the castle being upside down, it is now right side up as well. But as you look off into the distance, the mountain ranges are now upside down.
Okay.
So, and you guys are standing about 20 feet in front of the castle gates.
Are they open?
No, the gates are closed.
Is there anything discernible about the castle itself that like stands out, like that's real, like obvious and different from everything else about the castle?
The only thing that you or that you can that stands out to you all about the castle, and actually Bartholonude / Topher, make a perception check for me.
15.
15. Okay. So as you are looking around, you're kind of like, as you guys are walking up to the castle gates, you are like gazing at the castle as it's getting larger and larger and taller and taller. And the only thing that you see that is standing out is at the top of the castle, there is a thick kind of cloud with like light shooting kind of from the windows and the doors that are up in the every couple seconds up on like the tip top pinnacle of this castle. That's the only thing that really makes it stand out from other, I wouldn't say other quote unquote castles, just stands out from the already very distinct environment you all are in.
So Bartholonude just walks up to the castle doors.
So as you get closer to this gate, you notice that there are two, it's a massive gate, probably 30 feet tall, maybe 50 feet wide, just a massive castle gate. And to either side of the castle, there are two guards, one on the right and one on the left. And what you notice about these guards is they're not really there. They're like a green spectral being. And they don't notice you. They don't even see you.
They have weapons?
Yeah, they have pikes and they have shields, just castle guards. They're just
spectral
standing
weapons?
there. Yeah, they're entirely spectral.
I kind of like Bartholonude walks up to the door and just like right in my mind, I'm like trying to cast divine sense, but like I can't. Like, I can't sense anything about it, and it's so weird. It just puts me off.
So even though I'm in another person's body, I still have my own, general terribleness. So
Your personality hasn't changed, unfortunately.
yes, I now have this giant halberd and this massive, masculine, dragon, gleaming, heroic body. And I'm just going to swing this huge halberd at the door.
So it's not a door, there's a gate.
The gate.
But
Yeah,
there's a
that-
door
that
behind
thing.
the gate.
That's fine. I just want to take out the gate. I just want to go through this thing.
Okay, so in the gate, the walls are pretty high for like, I would say just a little higher than like normal outside castle walls.
Like Minas Tirith.
You're looking at like 25, 35 like foot tall walls that are surrounding like the post or like the courtyard kind of thing that you just kind of walked through. It's impossible to see the outside of the castle walls from within this whatever's on the other side of this castle gate. So the castle gates are metal or iron, I guess you could say, and the castle gates themselves are kind of like barred, and then there is on either side of the door, because it splits open in the middle, on either side of the door in the middle there is a sigil, like an iron circle, and there's the sigil of a lightning bolt within the middle of those sigils. Behind that gate is a massive wooden door.
All right, so I want to swing on this gate.
Okay, so you just pull out.
I'm just trying to see what happens.
Okay, where do you hit it?
I would say like horizontally, like I'm gonna whirlwind this thing.
Just right, try to smack it right in the middle of the gate.
Yeah, just try to chop through like 3 or 4 bars.
Okay, so explain what you do here, just like
So,
narratively.
I probably have no idea how to use this body, so I imagine that as Hamilton, I probably would grab the halberd and just start spinning in circles as fast as I could, and then just get closer and closer to the gate until the halberd hit the gate.
Okay. Make an attack roll for me.
Sure. Well, that's good. It's not. I don't know how to. Well, I do have a +9 to hit. Wow, that's good as shit. So that'll be an 11.
So you kind of step back a little bit, and you just start spinning around in a circle, holding the end of the halberd.
Yeah.
And just start spinning around and around and around, just kind of like letting the momentum carry your
Right.
body in circles.
Right, yeah.
And you your halberd has like the hook on the end of it, and as you're spinning, you go to hit, and you notice the hook of the halberd gets caught on the edge of the gate, and it just kind of flings out of your hand, and it throws you on the ground because it's carrying the weight of your body, and it spins you onto the ground, and nothing happens as your halberd is just now caught in the iron bar of the gate.
I walk up and I grab the handlebar and I try to pull it to open the gate.
Okay. So I would say that when you go up and try to open the gate, you get a little resistance. But ultimately, as you start to pull, the gate does open. Now, what you do notice, though, it's kind of interesting, is that when you pull on this gate, you're pulling on one side of the gate, and as you pull on it, the other side of the gate opens with it. And when you pull on this side of the gate, not only does the other side of the gate open as well, but the door also opens with the gate. And whenever you're looking around, you don't notice that there's any discernible mechanical integration between the gate and the door. They just all open together.
Do the guards have any reaction to this?
They don't. The guards are just standing and staring. Not even at you guys. They're just standing and staring.
So I turn around and kind of look at everybody, and I was like, "Are we gonna go in here?"
I guess so.
Yeah, let's do it.
So beyond the gate, as you guys filter through its doors, you see just a long straight path as you guys are in a courtyard of some sort. And as you guys are walking, I'm assuming you guys are just going to keep heading towards the castle. You guys are walking along what appear to be flower gardens, except as you look around, the plants are dark, various shades of purple and black and blue, with flowers and other various sorts of flora life that have either like razor sharp needles protruding from them or teeth and jaws of their very own with just salivating like they're hungry. And they are, as you guys are walking, they're like turning towards you and like growing and facing you and growing and outstretching towards you.
So like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna bite us? Like, are they able to reach us? Like, what's happening right now? You said they were growing towards us, and they're like
outstretching towards you. They can't reach you from where you're like the center of the path.
Let's just keep walking on the path if they can't reach us. Yeah.
So as you guys are walking, you notice that every maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 feet, this is a long path you guys are on. You guys are in a massive courtyard. And you guys are looking to your right and your left. You guys are noticing, for those of you who can see over the immediate gardens to your right and left, it just seems to be just a plethora of different pathways, almost like a plant maze. And surrounding this is just these various sorts of plant life. And as you guys are looking around, some of them are towering. As you guys see these other plants that are kind of reaching towards you and are unable to actually get to you, you make the assumption that if you were to be near these, they could definitely reach you. But you guys just keep on going. As you guys are on the center path,
Keep on trucking.
Yep, we keep going.
okay. So as you guys get to the end of this pathway and into the garden life that is surrounding you, you guys come to a giant archway that has a kind of like a drop bar gate in front of it. And on the other side of this gate, you notice that there is it's on the inside of the castle, so there's no way over it. But on the other side of this gate, there is a lever. And there is a spectral guard that is standing next to this lever. What do you guys want to do?
So you say there's a guard standing next to the gate.
Next to the lever.
I'm sorry, yeah, on the inside next to the lever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir. We are here to see Lokar.
So again, the guard is it's a spectral guard, like you saw on the outside.
He's probably not going to respond.
Yeah, he doesn't. It doesn't seem like he's ignoring you. It just seems like he doesn't even know you're there. Like you're existing in a different place than what he is. It seems.
How far away is the lever?
I'd say it's about 6 feet within this gate.
And the gate is, you say, metal bars?
Yeah, it's like a metal bar grid with like I don't know, 7 or 8 inch squares.
Could have fit my halberd through it.
I would say if you got creative, you probably could. So give me an intelligence check.
Oh boy.
And you're in Bartholonude's body, so that's fun.
Oh boy. So that'll be a 22.
Wow. Okay.
Big smarts.
So you like lift your halberd up in the air, and it's got like a big blade on the end of it. You place the blade diagonally in the bottom corner of one of the holes, and you like perfectly align it, and you slide it in, and then like twist the halberd down and lift it to where the blade like slides in, and then bring the halberd diagonally slowly down and like flip the blade inside of it, and then push up, and then the halberd is now inside of the gate.
All right. So I want to reach over and flip that lever boy.
Okay. You extend your hand like almost all the way through to get the halberd all the way in, and you lay it on top of the lever, and go ahead and make a strength check for me.
Oh, this is
Also should be good for you.
I'm good at this.
Depending on the rolls.
Not if I roll a critical fail.
Oh, you rolled a crit fail?
Yep. Sure did.
Oh, no.
That hurts.
Very
You
much
hate to
like
see it.
Bartholonude.
All right. So, you...
My arm breaks.
You start to like pull down on the the halberd is now resting on the lever. and you go to like pull down on it, and whenever you pull down, you're like resting your elbow as you're like inside the gate. You're resting your elbow on the gate to try to get leverage, and you're like pulling down and pushing with your other hand, and your hand that's pulling your arm down slips, and then it like launches the halberd upwards, and the halberd flips over the lever inside the castle. So your halberd is now inside the castle, and the lever is unmoved.
I see that happen, and I want to transform into a spider. I want to crawl through. I want to crawl up the wall onto the lever, and as I'm sitting on the lever as a spider, I want to transform back into my body.
That might hurt.
Take a point of inspiration right there. I like the way that you're playing this. All right, so when you transform back into this, you become stimulated anally as the lever falls and the gate slowly begins to clink and opens. So the gate opens and you all are reunited once again.
It feels so good.
So as you guys pour into this castle, you are now inside of the castle. This was the door to the inside of the castle.
Okay.
Immediately inside of the door, there are 4 stone pillars. And as you guys are looking around, the stone pillars have lights, like fire, dancing on top of each one of the pillars. And as it is illuminating the room, each one of the lights are kind of like a purplish flame. And as you look around, you notice that the walls are 30, 40, 50 feet high. Massive castle. There are, every 10 or so feet along the walls, there are torches, maybe 15 to 20 feet in the air, lining the castle walls that are have like a purple flame emanating off of them. Along the ceilings, there are chandeliers that contain hundreds, it seems, candles. And within the chandeliers, there are fragments of shards of glass that are casting light from these candles and various places of the room. But along with the light, it's also casting shadows, which is kind of interesting on various corners and pieces of the room as well. The walls are made of stone, and there's a red carpet that is lining the center of the room up towards the middle. And as you guys walk in here, between these pillars and the lights, you guys notice that off to the left, the room kind of makes a U shape, like a wide U. And far off to the left, as the room kind of curves up and to the left, there is a doorway that's closed. And on the right side, the same way, the room is symmetrical. So same shape on both sides. It veers up to the right. There's it's kind of like in a curvature U pattern, and there's another door off to the right, and there's also a door directly in front of you. Now what you do notice, though, is you guys walk into the room, you guys walk directly in between these 4 pillars, which are about 20 feet apart from each other, and then there's 2 pillars that are directly in a line, and then across from those 20 feet across from each other, there's another set of 2 pillars. And as you guys walk into the room, it plants you right directly into in the middle of these 4 pillars that are in a square shape. What do you guys do?
Who had the ruby? Where is that ruby?
I had the ruby, so I guess now Hamilton would have
That
it.
means I have the ruby.
It's Hamilnude. Just get it. Just let it happen. It's Hamilnude.
Let me search my pockets for the ruby. I found it.
Very much like Bartholonude.
let me see that ruby.
Here.
I take the ruby.
Okay.
So I have the ruby. I'm going to pull out a torch, light the torch, and I want to hold the ruby up with the torch behind it so it can refract light so we can see beyond like the doors and things of that nature.
Okay. So as you light your torch and then hold out this ruby, so when the light refracts off of the ruby, you're standing in the middle of this, in between all 4 of these pillars, And whenever you look around, this casts like a glow in like a 30-foot radius around you.
Mm-hmm.
And there are the only thing you can kind of see through are these pillars that these lights are on. Mm-hmm. And they're just, you don't see anything on them. They're just pillars.
What about the door? I was wanting to kind of focus on
that door.
You're
a little too far away from the door. Now, if you want to walk over there.
Well, yeah, I wanted to like kind of walk around and I wanted to see through that door.
Okay. Are you talking about the door that's directly across from
Yeah,
here?
the one that,
you can't see through this door.
That's very peculiar.
Now, the walls around it, you can.
Okay.
And as you walk near it, the door, you can't see through it, but the walls, you can see that there's just another pathway beyond it.
Okay.
Nothing out of the ordinary, but for some reason, this door, you can't see through it.
What material is
Now,
this
as
door?
you approach the door, you immediately notice that you can't see through it.
Yeah.
So now I will.
Are there torches next to the door? Or
No.
is it okay? I want to put the ruby in like my pocket or something. I want to place my hand on the door to kind of like feel it, to see, because if we haven't had this ruby very long, but whenever we've used it before, we've been able to see through everything. Like the floors in the basement underneath the keep and stuff like that. I want to see if this material, like what this material is, like why, or maybe I can. I mean, I don't know my spells. I don't know if I can like sense any kind of magic or anything on the door that would keep it.
You can do an Arcana check regardless of what your abilities are.
I
Do you just want to feel the door first and see what you're getting?
I want to feel the door, and then I want to check, see if there's any kind of magic I can feel off of it.
Okay, so make a perception check for me.
21.
Okay, so as you go up to the door, you notice that this door, it's a large door. It's like 15 feet wide, probably 15 feet tall. It's a massive square door in the side of the stone wall, and you can't figure out quite why you can't see through it. So you kind of walk up and you're looking at it, and it's just a flat like square door, and you kind of like lay your hand on it to try to feel like what the consistency of. Maybe you can pick something up off of it. And as you kind of like lay your hand on it, you notice something. You notice as you put your hand on it, it's like it starts to like move under your hand, and you like pull your hand back. Or wait, sorry, I can't make that determination. You start to like kind of like make it feet.
Oh,
it moves under your hand. You pull your hand.
Oh
back.
yeah.
Okay.
Was it wet?
This door, it was slightly. This door has a mouth, and it doesn't speak to you. But as you notice with that perception check that you just did, as you like kind of like back away from it and you like notice that this mouth above the door, there's a plaque. The plaque, what kind of languages can you, as I guess this would be Topher, because you still have your mind. What if Bartholonude or Ryan, if you could tell me what languages Topher natively has the ability to understand? I don't, unless you know that off the top of your head, Daniel.
Common, celestial, and
abyssal, celestial, common, and goblin.
Okay, so you can read this. It is an abyssal, and above the door it says, "Speak the passage to gain it."
I turn around and look at the party and say,
Hey guys, this door is alive. It feels, it's alive. The plaque above the door, it says speak the passage to gain it.
To gain it.
So you
Nothing happened.
So the rest of you, other than Benedict / Topher, are still actually standing back in the middle of these 4 pillars with these lights. And Topher / Benedict, I guess, as you turn around and you start to address the party and tell them this information, you guys notice that the lights coming off these 4 pillars, they spring to action. They turn, one of them turns into a dragon. One of them turns into a dwarf, one turns into a human figure, and one of them turns into a gnome. And the lights start just dancing in place as these figures. It's purple flame, and They're dancing in a circle, and then you see them shoot off into various positions in the room, and you see them all just fly into different directions and disappear into the walls. And these lights are gone.
Those kind of look like our souls, guys. Could you use the ruby again and maybe look where one of them went?
Yes. I'll pull out the ruby. I've still got my torch, so I'm going to hold it up towards whatever direction that I saw one fly in. I guess to my right. I don't know.
So you're facing the party. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking towards your right, it would be the party's left. Mm-hmm. And one did fly off into that direction.
Okay.
So you just want to walk that direction to the wall.
I figure they're probably beyond the 30 feet, but I'm going to go just kind of look.
It definitely is. I mean, it's a good probably like 100 to 200 feet to the nearest door. This is, I can't stress enough just how, 30, 40, 50 foot ceilings. I mean, huge castle.
I was saying this thing only refracts light like 30 feet. So even once I got to that wall, 30 feet beyond where I could see, the soul is probably, or this, whatever it was, is probably actually like further than 30 feet beyond the wall.
It's a 30-foot radius, 30-foot diameter. So the radius, from where you're standing, it's only 15 feet.
Okay, well, yeah, then 15 feet beyond the wall that I'm walking to, I probably still won't be able to see this.
Okay, so you want to walk in that direction?
I still want to like kind of look to see, but in my mind, I'm probably not going to find it, but...
Okay. So as you walk in this direction, you notice that, there's a door and a flat wall off to that, and that left and slightly up in the direction that this, one of these lights headed. And you go in that direction, and you notice that as you were following it, the light you were following was, actually make an insight check, Daniel and Bartholonude, since you were the one that kind of initiated this.
23.
Nat 20.
Fuck.
God damn.
So, Topher's consciousness and Bartholonude's consciousness. Topher's consciousness, you realize that the spirit that flew off into that direction was the dragon flame. Mm-hmm. Bartholonude, so when it flew in this direction, not only did you see it fly in this direction, but when it hit the wall, you noticed something interesting. It didn't just like fly through it. It almost like became one with the wall and like fell into it. But then you noticed you could almost feel there was a pull on your heart. Whenever it, like the further away it gets, you almost feel like the things that happened in your past, the stuff that happened in the border forest, the things that happened between you and Weisswine, Ayesha, all of those things that have happened in your past, the further away this thing gets and you can feel it moving away from you, you feel those parts of you and the regrets that you have and the secrets that you hold and all of that and how you feel about all those things are very much pushing on you.
Okay.
So as Topher's consciousness, Benedict's body, as you move towards this wall and you get like right up against it, it is just a flat wall. You notice that on the wall, the door is directly in the middle with probably 30, 40 feet of wall on either side where the door is on to the other side. There are these massive picture frames on the wall, but the pictures are just empty. There's no photo in it. There's just gray.
Is there any, like, on the frame around it? Like, is there anything, like, any kind of, like, small plaque, like, was above the door, like, with, like, a description of...
No plaque, but there is, like, a very ornate engraving. Mm-hmm. And you notice that the engravings in them, they're, like, gold inlaid, and they have lions and dragons and, like, mythical creatures, like, inlaid in the gold. And they kind of go up and around, all the way around. Just very ornate, beautiful frames. So it's almost lending way to you guys almost thinking, why are these here if they're just empty? Like,
no, it makes sense. There's something here, like we've got to figure out what the passage is to speak. How many frames are there in this room?
On the wall where you can see from where you're at, there's only 2 frames. Now, given that you're close enough, you can see on the other side of this wall. You do notice that on the other side, from what you can see anyways, you can only see 15 feet in front of you, and the wall is probably 2 or 3 feet thick. So from maybe 10 feet in the other room, if you're standing right up against it, you can see it looks very similar to the room you're already in, dim purple light, but you can see that along the walls there are inlets on the inside, and you can only see one or two of them.
Like on the other side of the wall?
Yeah, okay. Along the wall there are just like little inlets with candles and stuff burning. You can only see about 2 of them, but you assume they're symmetrically placed along the insides of the walls on the other side of this door.
Okay. I want to go back to the party and try to figure out with everybody kind of what to do next, like, because there's another door in here, right? It's like up and around.
Yeah, there's the door that had the mouth.
Yeah, I'll say.
And there's another door that's symmetrical on the right side of the room that you were.
Well, first I'm going to tell them that when I saw the flame go through the wall there, I went to check, and I just saw a few inlets and some candles on the other side of the wall, but I did not see the flame. There's empty frames around, as you can see. What would you guys think we should do? We need to figure out this passage to gain access through this door, or do you want to go to the other door and see if we could get through it?
So Bartholonude's consciousness in Topher's body is like he's kind of trembling, and he kind of falls to his knees, and you can tell he's having a rough go. Bartholonude has a pretty heavy shit on his conscience, and he's good at holding his composure in his own body, but especially after feeling like everything's slipping away when the spirit or whatever went through the wall, and it's scary because it kind of feels like I'm losing a part of myself, and I'm worried that we might not be able to get it back, so I'm really having a tough time right now.
Well, me being Topher, what I would normally do in a situation like this would walk over and try to like let him know that I'm there for him. I'd put my hand on his shoulder. Are you on your knees?
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm down on my hands and my knees.
I'm just going to kind of go over and place my hand on his back and be like, I can tell you're struggling, but we really need to figure out what to do to gain our souls back. I need you to be strong.
Yeah, I want to talk to the door.
Okay. So you walk up to the door. What do you say to it?
Do you have a name?
Good question.
Okay, so I turn back around to everybody, and it seems to me that this door will repeat anything that we say to it. Let me double check. My name is Hamilton Blumkinpatch.
My name is Hamilton Blumkinpatch.
The door is repeating everything I say.
The door is repeating everything I say.
Does anyone have any ideas of things that we should try to say to this door to open it?
The plaque above the door says to speak the passage to gain it. So there's something that we must speak.
The passage.
The passage.
And nothing
Door
happens.
speaks back to you and nothing happens.
Well, so Bartholonude's consciousness kind of walks up to the door, and I want to put my hand in its mouth.
Okay. So whenever you kind of like put your hand up to his mouth and you like stick your hand in its mouth, it doesn't feel like a mouth. It doesn't have like a tongue or teeth or anything. It's just like it's like has a magic ability to speak. So it just feels like a wooden inlet that you're putting your hand in, and it doesn't feel like anything. It just feels like a little slot.
Okay. Is there any sort of like if I try to, now that I'm a cleric, I feel like I have this new palette of senses, and just trying to like use Bartholonude's native sense to detect things that's around him. I'm trying to use Topher's palette to try to like just sense anything about this door that might give me some information about it. Do I sense anything that might be revealing?
Give me a perception check. Actually, make an Arcana check. It's a magic door.
It's a 5.
Okay, so you barely realize this is a door.
What is this?
No, with a 5, I mean you know that it's a magic door because someone's told you, and you're not getting any vibes off of this thing.
Yeah, so I just remove my hand from the mouth, and I kind of take a few steps back, and I just kind of sit there and look at it.
Make a perception check for me again.
Okay. All right. Critical fail.
Oh my god.
I hurt myself in my confusion.
You look back and you kind of sit back and you're trying to like gain some knowledge about this door as you're kind of looking at it, and you just get kind of like dyslexia as you're looking at the passage that's above the door. Yeah, you just kind of get really confused.
So we have to get the souls back on those pillars.
We got to get our souls back in our bodies.
Yeah, but I
So
feel
can we
like
maybe go inspect the pillars and maybe see if there's any information on them?
Can I make like an Arcana check on the pillars?
Yeah, go for it.
While he's doing that, I pull the ruby back out and I'm walking towards the other door.
Okay.
That's a 23.
So you go to kind of inspect this pillar, which is relatively just empty now. There's no light coming off of it or anything like that. But you're getting remnants of something you guys had already clued yourself into. You go to the pillar that the dwarf came off of. Since that's the one that you had suspected that was your soul. Mm-hmm. And you are getting very strong feelings of yourself. You feel connected to what's on there.
Yeah.
So you essentially confirming that that's what was tied to this pillar was your soul.
So these pillars are only 4.5 feet tall.
Yes.
I'm going to stand on top of this pillar.
All right.
Just play
You're
the
now
part.
standing on top of this pillar.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. You stand on this pillar. Now, I will say this, interestingly enough. You are in Hamilton's body. Mm-hmm. And you have a connection to his magics and all of that. You feel as if there is a prolonged disconnection between whatever magic that you are siphoning from, and also you feel as if there is, from the sake of your consciousness for Benedict, you feel as if there is something here that you don't understand it, you don't know what it is, but you've never felt closer to home than you do here.
What's directly above us?
Chandeliers.
You said they were oddly enough casting shadows.
Yeah, so the chandeliers that above the room, they have like candles in them, and what I had said was that they were refracting off these like broken pillars of glass
Shards, yeah.
that are casting both light and shadows all over the room. So the rooms are just like filled with like this refracting light and darkness at the same time. It's very interesting because the flame is like a purple, almost like a black light kind of, except flame.
So what would I have to do to get the light to shine on top of the pillars, or maybe like in the frames or something, like the shadow in the frames and the light on top of the pillars?
It would take some manipulation of the actual chandelier itself, but I can tell you that there are lights. Just the way that's because there's multiple chandeliers from the hanging from the ceiling. There are lights that are refracting on maybe portions of or parts of the pillars, and nothing seems to be happening from this.
So I see, I guess it's Hamilton's body on top of one of the pillars, and I just kind of speak up and I say something to him. I was like, Benedict, you're in Hamilton's body, correct?
Yes.
What are you thinking by getting on top of that pillar?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm just trying stuff.
What? Have you thought about trying another pillar?
Yeah. yeah, I have.
Good conversation. No, like, if you were to get on your pillar.
Yeah, the gnome pillar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. I'm going to jump on the gnome one.
All right, so you climb down and then scurry over to the one that had the gnome on it.
How far was it away?
So the distance between the gnome and the dwarf one, it is diagonal to it. Mm-hmm. So it is 15 feet. 12 and a half feet.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'll just climb down.
So you climb down and you run over to it and climb on top of the other one. Mm-hmm. Nothing happens.
I don't feel anything. Nothing.
Nope. You're still feeling what you were feeling earlier, but nothing else.
Is there anything about the pillars that look unique other than what was once on them?
Nope, they're just like stone pillars with like a flat top with kind of like a bold area. And then
There's one more thing I want to do. I want to cast True Strike on the door with the mouth.
Okay.
And what True Strike is you point a finger at a target within range. Your magic grants you a brief insight into the target's defenses. On your next turn, you gain advantage on your first attack roll against the target, provided that the spell hasn't ended.
Okay, so when you do this, you become enlightened as to what the door uses to defend itself. Mm-hmm. And that is, it is magic. And it is a conjuration spell.
Okay.
And it's, I mean, that's really all the information I could really give on it.
All right, cool. And I'm going to Eldritch Blast it.
All right, make an attack roll.
That's not good. It's a 15. That's an 18.
All right, so this Eldritch Blast hits this door. Where are you aiming for?
His mouth.
All right, so it hits this thing right in the mouth, and it's like, and then it hits, and like the smoke fades, and there's like this black spot right around the mouth, and you see the mouth go. Nothing happens.
Well, that's all I got.
Topher in Benedict's body. What are you doing right now?
I already said that I was going over to inspect the other door with the ruby.
Okay, so while this all is happening, you are right up against this wall. You're seeing literally the exact same thing. Now, the only difference is you're like going up and down this wall with this ruby, trying to see everything that you can see.
Well, I'm going to the other door.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
That's what I meant. The other, so there's a door that was on the left side, and you're on to the right. And as you're going up and down this wall of this door, seeing everything you can see it on the other side of the wall, you're going from the inner wall of the keep that's aligned with the entry to this floor or this area, and then you're on the other side, which is the same side as the wall where the mouth door is. You notice on the other side, you don't see a wall. There's the other side of that wall. There is a cage. It looks like a prison, almost.
But the door is the same?
The door itself just appears to be a normal door.
And I can see through that door?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go through the door.
All right, so you grab the door handle and you pull on it, and it swings wide open.
Okay. I'm going to go through it.
All right, so you walk in here, and this room is lit very much the same as the previous room was. Chandeliers in the ceilings and purple torches hanging on the wall. Just very dark aura. Red carpets lining the stone floors. The difference is the left wall of this room, it is a prison. It is a gate that goes from the floor all the way to the ceiling, just very tight, thick iron bars, and it lines the entire left wall. And as you look up that left wall, you notice there is someone in this cell, and there's a spirit in this cell, and it sits about 5 foot tall. It's Benedict's spirit, and it is trapped in this cell, and it is sitting on a pile of hay, like a cube of hay. It's baled, and it's sitting there, and it is mumbling something to itself with its hands on his knees, and he is rocking back and forth, mumbling to itself.
I noticed that that Topher's consciousness has kind of walked through another area, and I kind of get up a little bit of a jog to kind of catch up with him, just so I can go in there and look at that stuff with him.
So how far up is this cage that Benedict's soul is in?
Like I said, it's lining the entire left side of this room. So from the entry of the door, probably about 30 feet to the left is where this cage starts. But, I mean, you can definitively see it as soon as you walk in this room. It's the most well-lit thing in this room.
I want to walk over and try to communicate with...
Okay, the spirit?
The spirit.
So as you walk up to this spirit that resembles Benedict, it is sitting again in this hay, this pile of hay, and it is just kind of has its hand on its knees and it's kind of just rocking back and forth. And as you get closer, the mumbling turns into words, and it's speaking common. And the one thing that it is saying is this:
Should have listened to my mother. She loves me still. Should have listened to my mother. She loves me still. She loves me still.
And it's just rocking back and forth and repeating this over and over and over again.
Should have listened to my mother.
Benedict,
She loves me still.
can you hear me?
She loves me still.
The spirit does not.
I'm assuming the cell is like imbued with some kind of magic to keep this spirit in there.
Okay, so go ahead and you can make an Arcana check on the gate.
That's a 4.
Yeah, this just feels like normal metal to you. It just you don't get any. You're not vibing off this.
So I hear somebody come up behind me, and I turn around and I kind of jump because I'm still not used to seeing myself, and say, "It's Benedict's spirit. We must get the others. We must try to save it."
Have you, tried to go inside the cage?
No.
Is there any sort of gate or doorway for this cage?
I believe so.
So as you're looking around, there is a doorway to the gate, but there is a massive padlock hanging on it.
Well, I see that padlock there. Wonder if it takes a key.
I'm going to cast Keep Metal on the padlock and then attack it.
Make an attack roll with the spell modifier, and then just give me that.
It's a 16.
Okay, so you see this lock turn like a bright orange color, and go ahead and make an attack roll with whatever weapon. You have a scimitar, I believe?
Yeah, I'll use the scimitar.
Okay, go ahead and strike it.
13.
All right, so your scimitar hits this lock, and it just ricochets off of it. So, and then it immediately fades from orange to like a deep red and back into like a gray.
Bartholonude, we should get the others.
Okay.
So I'm just going to walk to the door and yell through the door and...
Hamilton, Benedict. We have found Benedict's soul.
Oh, thank God. All right, I'm coming.
So as you guys all filter into this room, one thing that you do notice is that the room, when you're looking, you walk in, you see like this red carpet that kind of extends all the way throughout the room, and it's like I said, it's lit very similarly to the other room with the torches and the chandeliers. But to the far end of the room, beyond the where the end of the prison is, that's housing Benedict's soul, is it kind of the far wall extends inward to the left further than what the gate does. Like it tucks back behind. Like there's more to the room beyond that you can't see from this position.
Like more to the prison part?
Not the prison part. So the prison part wall, or the end prison wall has something behind it that you can't see. So you could continue on to find more.
Benedict, do you see your soul?
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Maybe you should try speaking with it to see if you can communicate with your soul.
It looks like the soul is not having a good time.
I walk up to the cage and I put my hands on the cage. I'm like, "Hey there, bud. What's going on?" And I hear what he's saying.
Should have listened to my mother. She loves me still. Should have listened to my mother. She loves me still. She loves me still.
So whenever you put your hands on the cage, you're looking at this soul, and I don't want to say you get shocked, but you get thrown backwards across the floor. And in your mind, you are seeing a skull, and it is speaking to you.
Okay.
And it says,
Remember your mother's sacrifice. Prove she did not die for nothing.
And as you like come to a sliding finish on the floor, you stand up, and then you see your soul rocking back and forth.
Should have listened to my mother. She loves me still. Should have listened to my mother. She loves me still. She loves me still.
Now, from where you hit the back wall, and from where your back like slides up against the wall, and you open your eyes and you look backwards and you see your soul rocking faster than it was before in this cage, and then your eyes catch light to the right side of the room, back in this inlet to where no one else can see other than you yet. And you see Hamilton's soul standing against the wall. It's very small, and it is just hitting the wall with a fist, clenched fist, just hitting the wall over and over again slowly. And it's muttering something to itself that you can't hear.
Okay, I'd like to walk closer to it.
So you stand up and you start to walk that way.
And as I walk, I'm telling them like, "Yo, there's more back here. I am assuming that all of our souls are back here. If you guys want to follow."
I rush over there.
Okay.
Stubby legs.
So
and
as you
all.
guys all go over there, you get closer and closer to this. And are you guys all standing next to this at this point? All are approaching this, I guess, just to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as you guys get closer, you see this soul, and it is just still clocking away at this wall slowly. And you hear,
Perhaps I'm not, but maybe so. Connected? My power? Is it mine?
just
Perhaps
over
I'm not,
and over.
but maybe so. Connected? My power?
I want to put my hands on his shoulder.
So whenever you get closer to him, you put your hand on his shoulder, and you just feel like a crackle, and your hand just like shoots off of him, like it's just shooting backwards.
Yeah.
Kind of like you actually make an Arcana check.
That's a nat 20.
Okay, so you immediately are attuned to what this means.
Okay.
You realize that you are not going to get an answer from this or because you are not Hamilton.
Yeah.
So whenever you put your hand on it, it's like it's shooting backwards, and you immediately, with a nat 20, know I'm not going to get any information from this because this is not my soul. So this is why it's shooting my hand backwards.
Hamilton, do you want to give it a shot?
Well, give me the Beach Boys and free my soul. And I walk up and I touch my soul.
So you're in Bartholonude's body, and as you walk up, and you almost have to like lean over to do this, and it's just like punching the wall.
Perhaps I'm not, but maybe so. Connected? My power? Is it mine?
You hear that, and you lay your hand on the shoulder, I'm assuming. And then this soul turns around and pounces on top of you and tackles you flat to the ground. And everyone, the other three of you, you see this, and it's just standing over top of him. Hamilton, in your mind, your eyes have just glazed over. And in your mind, you see this skull, and it is looking at you in your eyes. And it says,
Give up your most prized possession.
And I see this in my mind.
Yep.
He's probably talking about my book, yeah. And what do I stand to gain from this?
Your soul.
Do I take it that you are Lokar?
It doesn't answer.
If I haven't had my soul up till now, why would I suddenly value it?
You don't know the meaning of having your soul. You've had it this whole time. This is the first time you've been without it. What it means to be Hamilton rests here. Give up your most prized possession. If you wish to see your soul again, returned.
I don't know, this is tough.
You can't just give up your book. What are you giving the book to?
My book is the source of my power.
But is that your most prized possession? That is it?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, my whole life's purpose is to
Be strong, boy.
be as strong as possible so that I can avenge my life, basically, and kill my father. And I've done so by accumulating power through my book, through my grimoire.
Oh, such a tragedy. The moment you get close to your father's death, the opportunity presents itself before you. And what gives you the opportunity is now going to be taken from you.
This is a huge decision. I mean, the ramifications of giving up my book are massive. Like, sure, I get my soul back, but then what if I never get my book returned to me? There's no guarantee that I'll be able to, negotiate another pact with Cthulhu and be granted any more power. And there's also the ramifications of, if I give this book away, what does Cthulhu do to me? How does that impact me as a living creature? I mean, I could give this book away to get my soul back, and then Cthulhu could take my soul as punishment for giving his book away.
This is an internal dialogue that you're struggling with.
Sure, yeah.
But as you're having this internal dialogue with yourself, this being is in tune to what you're thinking. It's almost like you would have to make the conscious decision. You wouldn't speak it. You'd have to make that conscious decision to give something up. So the dialogue you're having regarding that is this being is aware of it.
Yeah.
So this being that's just a skull, it forms an entire body. And it's just a skeleton. And it looks towards you and motions and gains your attention. And it kind of steps to the side and puts its arm out and just kind of extends, inviting your eyes to view something with its hand as it moves out of the way. And you're seeing Bartholonude getting his soul back. And you're seeing Topher getting his soul back. And you're seeing Benedict get his soul back. And as Benedict's soul enters his body, Hamilton's soul leaves this body. And it has nowhere to go. And you realize that what he is showing you is if you do not do what he's asking, and you guys continue on without this, when everyone gains their souls back and you see the soul leave this body and it has nowhere to go, you see it leave out this window and it is thrown into this pit of darkness outside the castle. And as you follow this soul, it's almost like you're connected to it. And as it falls down in, it is just this pit of darkness and misery where the air leaves. There's a horrid, ghastly surrounding, and it is just being tossed and hit and battered and bruised just infinitely. And it scares you. I mean, for someone that dabbles in darkness still, it's quite torturous. And then you come back to, so lending way to that, to what you might have to deal with if you don't potentially get your soul. That is what not having your soul back means. It means that that's where you'll be, not in a body without a soul. Your mind will be tied to that soul, and that's where you'll be forever.
Yeah, I don't think I'm giving away my book. I made a pact with one of the most powerful dark gods that has ever existed to try to get back at my father, knowing full well what that might mean. I'm not giving that up this close. I'm in his keep. I know he's here. I know that he's wanted us to come here. I can feel that something big is about to happen. That's what all of this is leading up to. And if that means that I lose my soul, then whatever.
Okay. So you just deny it?
Yeah.
What do you say to this?
Fuck you.
All right, so you're on the ground and you kind of like snap out of this, and you were laying there, and you look around and you see your soul standing there against the wall, just continuing to quote this.
Perhaps I'm not, but maybe so. Connected? My power? Is it mine? My power? Is it mine? My power? Is it mine?
You turn around and there is a massive thud on the ground as something hits the ground. And as it opens up, there is a skeleton wielding a giant sword. And everyone roll initiative.